Good morning. The Louisiana Committee on Parole was impaneled in Baton Rouge at headquarters. Today's date is July 9th, 2025. On the panel today with me to my left is Mr. Tillis, to my right is Mr. Prater on the Ladue. We have staff and support here at headquarters. Could you identify yourself?
Jasmine Thompson.
Francis Abbott.
Carla Williams.
Our remote site today is Louisiana State Penitentiary, where we're hearing a revocation. Would the staff there at LSP introduce yourself?
Deputy Warden Rochelle Ambo.
Regional Laboral Classification.
Carmen Chipley, Offender Records.
Thank you very much. We're going to begin this revocation. Sir, would you please identify yourself with your name and your DOC number?
CECIL STRATTON, 486511.
Mr. Stratton, you're before this panel today with violations of parole, of your parole. And the first thing I want to find out is if you have a paper in front of you that indicates your signatures. Wait, let's see. Yeah, whether you're eligible for retained counsel. Okay, so you're not eligible for appointed counsel. You do have retained counsel. Mr. Bork is here. And Mr. Bork, thank you. At the proper time, we will allow you to make your statements and assist your client as you need. I'm going
So
to.
Mr. Borg, whenever you go to speak, you're gonna have to unmute your microphone.
Okay, there you go.
Can you hear me now, sir?
We can hear you. At the proper time, you'll be, you need to unmute and speak to the panel. At this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Prater to read out the rule violations and take your plea.
Okay, Mr. Stratton, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, sir. How you doing?
I got some simple questions here to, as you know, when you get out on parole, you sign a sheet, you'll abide by certain rules. And there's 3 rules that the parole officer contends that you violated. Rule number two is that you absconded and a warrant was issued for your arrest for absconding. And you understand what that phrase means?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. That was back in August of 24 is when the warrant was issued. How do you plead on that? You can plead guilty with a statement, not guilty with a statement, whatever.
I would plead guilty with a statement on that.
Okay. All right, well, let's go ahead and deal with that statement now. There's no sense in putting it off.
Okay, I seen my parole officer in August and he wasn't there. So I was referred to another parole officer. And the next month they had a hurricane and I called in. He said, you don't have to come see me. As long as you called in, you're okay. Because they had a hurricane, a category 4 hurricane. Everybody was evacuating. And I didn't have a warrant until like September something. And like I say, I called in and talked to the chief of police, Mr. David Lindenberg, and he said, I talked to your parole officer. He said, don't worry about it. Just make sure that you come in and see him in October. And he said everything, he done talked to him, and that's my statement on that.
Okay. All right. And the second rule that you are, well, let's go ahead and talk this one out first. Panel, do y'all have any questions to ask on that particular rule? We'll take them one at a time like that. Got any? Okay. All right. The second charge is violating rule number 4. And that's the one that says you're going to stay out of trouble. You're going to stay out of, you're not going to commit crimes and things like that. And you were arrested on a warrant for aggravated second-degree battery and battery on a dating partner. And you were arrested on, let's see, I believe 10/30 of 24 was when the warrant, you were finally arrested on that. The warrant was obtained back 8/9 or 24. So tell me,
yes, sir.
Tell me about that. This lady's claiming that you really beat her up bad.
Yes, sir. But like, and then she did say that, and I was at work, and they never come out my job to see when this incident happened, was I at work? And so that's when I hired this attorney and told him what went on. And I went to court, and I never was billed on felony charges. They charged me with that. When I went to court, they billed me on a misdemeanor charge, and was going back and forth to trial. She wouldn't show up to say what happened. So the judge said, you know what, Mr. Stratton, this is only a misdemeanor that carries 90 days. He said, if you want to plead guilty, you can. He said, if not, I'm going to set it back and give her one more chance to show up. So they set it back. I went back to trial again, and he said, you know what, Mr. Stratton? He said, I'm going to put a warrant out for her arrest, and I'm dismissing these charges on you. And I said, thank you, sir. And that was that.
Okay. All right. And do you have any relationship with her now, or any way that you know of we could get in touch with her?
Well, whenever I first fell, she contacted me a few times through lettering, but I say about 2 months after that, I didn't contact her no more. Since I was locked up, she just never contacted me no more. She calls my sister every now and then. Oh, did he get out? But I really don't. I've been through a lot with this here and with her, so my plans are not to go around her and mess with her anymore. Put me through enough stuff already, to be honest with you, sir.
Okay. And the rule number 10, it says that you owe $423 on parole fees.
Yes, sir. And I did. I had got behind a little bit, and I had made those payments since then. Since I've been incarcerated, I paid $451 of the dollars to catch up on it, because my parole officer told me if you need to pay that, as well as get these charges taken care of. So I made that payment since I've been incarcerated, sir. And my attorney does have the code numbers to the payments as well.
Okay. All right. Board, do y'all have any questions about the rule violation before we go to the attorney?
No, I'd like to speak with the attorney.
Okay. Yes, sir. Mr. Board, would you talk to us, please, sir?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh. The first thing I'd like to say is Miss Lodrick signed an affidavit saying she didn't remember what happened. She was overdosed on Xanax on the day she talked to the police. She don't remember talking to the police. That was August 19th, right after the alleged incident. We went to court. I filed a 701 motion because they never billed Mr. Stratton, and 100 days had passed. And we went to court on February 12, 2025, and the district attorney later filed a bill on February 18th for the offense of battery of a dating phone, first offense, a misdemeanor offense. We went to trial. The trial was set for March 13th, 25. Ms. Lodrick did not show up for trial, and it was continued until April 16th, 2025. On April 16th, the misdemeanor was no pros because Ms. Lodrick failed to appear, and a bench warrant was issued for her arrest. Since then, nothing has happened with regard to the criminal charges. We have copies of receipts for payment of the past due probation fees in the amount of $454, which has been paid since he's been incarcerated. Mr. Stratton has been incarcerated for 8.5 months since October 30th, whatever October 30th to the day is, the 24th through the July 7th of 25, on a charge that's been no process. And he was behind on his payments, but he paid them since he's been incarcerated. And he was working. We had an affidavit filed with the DA saying he was at work the day of the alleged incident with Miss Lodrick. And I've talked to his employer, and his employer will hire him back. He said he was a good worker as soon as he's released. That's all I can say. I've been engaged with Mr. Stratton since the beginning of this year. And he's no longer charged, and I don't think he owes any back fees.
Okay. All right. Mr. Stratton, let me ask you a question again.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about I'm kind of concerned a little bit about the absconding. Why did they get that warrant for you?
When I talked to my parole officer and I asked him why did they put up scoundrel on me, and he told me that anytime that there's a warrant filed for an inmate that's on parole, he said, being I didn't answer my phone when he called, and he went by where I was living at the time, and I wasn't there. He said he automatically had to put a warrant out for me because of the fact that I did have a warrant that was brought up against me. And I was like, well, I mean, he could have, even though I wasn't home, he could have come by my work. He knows where I work at. I mean, I did report on the ninth, the 1st of August. And when he wrote it on the paper, I had my family call him and ask him, why did he say that I didn't report since August, when I did report August and I reported September? He was not present. So they gave me a different parole officer to talk to since he was not present. And like I say, that's why I said I would plead, guilty to that with a statement of that, I know that no matter what, you're on parole, you have to see a parole officer. And I did see him, and it's documented, I'm pretty sure it is, that I did go in Berg, Louisiana and seen him. He wasn't there. I seen another parole officer, sir.
And you've been in jail for how long?
8.5 months.
Okay. And when did you get on parole?
In 2023, I discharged from DCI October the 1st, sir.
Okay. Have you learned anything?
Most definitely, sir.
Okay.
I learned that I need to make a wiser decision on, as far as my girlfriend. She's a good person. Her mother was dying, and she was taking more prescription medication than she was supposed to. And, that don't give it no reason, for me to be in here, but I need to make wiser decisions on who I date. That's most definitely for sure.
I don't have any other questions.
Any other panel?
No.
Well, Mr. Prater, you're set to vote, right?
Okay, Mr. Stratton, I think you've been in jail for 8 months. I think the fact that we can't even find this lady to testify, the fact that the only correspondence is through your attorney, and then she dismissed all charges, that it didn't really happen that way, which is not unusual for us to hear. It's aggravating, but it's not unusual. So I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying that the preponderance of the evidence in your particular case is that it didn't, in my mind. The absconding, I think we can deal with that. I think you've learned a lot about that, and it's just
Yes,
a brief
sir.
period of time, and you get caught up on your fees. So my recommendation is that we not revoke you, and that you immediately report to your parole officer.
Yes, sir.
My vote is do not revoke.
My vote is to not revoke. Today, your parole has not been revoked. That concludes our visit at Louisiana State Penitentiary. The time is.
we have more.
Oh, excuse me, we have more. Never mind. Go ahead.
That's it. Then we welcome.
Okay,
Okay.
how do we turn all this off?
I got it.
Good morning. The Louisiana Committee on Parole is reconvened at Louisiana State Penitentiary. Today's date is 7/9, and could you introduce yourself, sir, with your name and your DOC number?
My name is Barry Chelette, DOC number 384712.
Okay, on my left is Mr. Tillis, to my right is Mr. Prater. I'm Ms. Ledoux, and we're going to start this parole hearing. I'm going to read some information into the file first. You are a first-class offender currently serving a 70-year sentence for manslaughter and forcible rape. This is a rehearing. You had a parole eligibility date 2/12/2016. You have a good time date of 2/18/2030 and a full term date of 2/12/2066. Does that sound correct according to your understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'd like to acknowledge that we do have someone here in opposition. We do not have anyone here in support. So at this point, I would like to ask you to tell us why you are before this panel today. Tell us about the crime that puts you there and why we should consider early release for you.
Well, this hearing right here come as a surprise to me because I had no idea that it was scheduled. The last time I appeared before him was in 2015 when I was at Winfield for the 2045 parole hearing. So
you were not told at all that you were going to be coming before this panel?
no, ma'am, I just got the letter through the mail a week ago.
Okay. So why are you there where you are today? I mean, do you want to continue this hearing, or do you want to put it off? Do you want to be heard today or no?
Well, since we're already here, let's go through with it.
Ms. Ledoux,
Yes.
this Warden Ambo,
Yes, ma'am.
he signed a notice for the Committee on Parole on 6/10/25. It was given to him and he signed it.
Yes, ma'am. I had a copy of that.
Okay,
Yeah. Thank you.
welcome.
So do you want to answer that question again now then, Mr. Chelette? Why you're before this panel and why we should consider parole?
Well, like I keep telling everybody, I'm waiting on the Innocence Project to take my case. Cause like I told the parole panel back in 2015, I have DNA evidence that proves that the individual that committed this crime has had a vasectomy, which I have not had. So it proves I did not commit this crime. But everybody keeps giving me the runaround, where's your evidence? I can't produce any more evidence than that. You know, to
Okay, so-
say that, I did not commit this.
Let's see what the victim says.
I'm prepared to vote.
Let's see what the victim says.
Well, you have your time before this panel. Warden Ambu, can I ask you what you have to say about this offender?
It's not much I can say besides, he refused sex offender treatment.
Yep.
He's a medium custody offender.
Yeah. And refuse substance abuse too, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So we would like to, at this point, hear from Heather Bridges, the victim's mother. And Ms. Bridges, would you just address the panel with what you have to say?
Good morning.
Morning.
This is really hard for me. He killed my daughter. It was proven that he killed her. He does not deserve a second chance. She can't have one. He does not deserve. He needs to stay right where he's at, please. Don't let him out. And when my daughter, during the funeral, his ex-girlfriend, she had 2 little girls, and they had told their mom what he had done to them. And plus, after everything was over with and I was able to go get my stuff, his mother and father had to let me in to get my stuff. And his mother told me to my face that she knew how he was and that she should have told me. So she was just as guilty as he is.
Thank you. Thank you for appearing today and providing your statement. Mr. Chelette, I don't have any other questions. Do either of my, huh?
I don't have it.
None.
Hi. Mr. Chelette, I'm going to vote today. My vote is to deny parole. And there are so many reasons. I'll just use refusal of your treatment programs and strong victim and law enforcement opposition. Mr. Prater
I concur.
and Mr. Tillis.
My vote is to deny.
And today, unanimously, your vote has been, the vote has been to deny your parole.
Okay.
Hey, good morning, sir. Here before the Louisiana Committee on Parole. To my left is Mr. Tillis, to my right, Mr. Prater, and Ms. Ledoux. Would you please state your name and your DOC number for the record?
They're muted.
I believe it's muted.
Sorry, there you go, we sorry.
I'm sorry, I thought I.
No problem. Go ahead, sir.
John Burkett, 400507.
Okay, Mr. Burkett. You're before this panel as a first felony offender serving a 70-year sentence, first-degree rape, and aggravated crime against nature. You have a parole eligibility date at pass 3/3/2016. This is a read here. You have a good time date 11/23/2041 and a full term date of 3/1/2066. Does that sound correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'd like for you to tell this panel why you're before us today, the crime that you committed, and why we should consider release for you at this time.
Well, I'm in here for molesting my niece. And should you let me go? I want to say yes. But I also think about it like this. I hurt somebody. That's about all I can say. I hurt somebody, and I mean, of course, I want to be free, but I really don't know what else to say, man.
You just speak clearer too and louder, they gotta hear you.
Okay.
I understood you. Warnambo, what do you have to say about Mr. Burkett?
Only thing I can tell you is that he's a medium C offender. He works as an inmate minister and a janitor, and he only had one DB report since he's been here, and that was for a 30J. I don't have anything else to say.
And you show he served 27 years, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, he served 27 years.
Thank you. So Mr. Burkett, your case has been assigned to Mr. Tillis, and he's going to ask you some questions.
Good morning, Mr. Burkett. How are you? I'm fine, thanks. How you doing? All right. What have you been doing with your time since you've been incarcerated? Besides working and being a minister? Yes. Have you been taking classes, sexual abuse classes or anger management? Yes, I took those already, sir. All the classes I needed, I took it already. All the classes you needed, you've taken them? Yes, sir. What did you learn out of them? What did you get out of them? Which one impacted you the most? Sex offender class. It did? What, tell me about it. Talk to me about it. Well, I also know the same stuff that you use for sex offender class, we use for everyday life. Like for instance, justify yourself for doing a crime. How much older were you than the victim? Like 23. You were 23 years older? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Okay. All right, I have no more questions.
Mr. Burkett, did you go to let's see, you got a diploma from the technical school. You also received your seminary degree. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have an associate's in Christian ministry.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you also have your bachelor's in Christian ministry.
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you put that to use there in the prison?
making rounds in the hospital, visiting people in the hospital. Also, there's a church to go to, attend, participates in the church service and everything.
I want to make sure I understand your case. You turned yourself in when you were in another state. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Now, let me ask another question.
Yeah.
If you were released, what would you do?
First of all, I would thank God for sure. Also, I would get a job and a place to stay.
Where would you live? What town would you go back to live?
Well, I would like to move up there, but my mother, she's in Illinois. I'd like to live with her.
So you'd like to go to out of state, to Illinois.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Prater, did you have a question?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Yeah, I see that you have a residence. Were you a teacher for sex offender class? Did you do pair teaching?
I took it a little bit. Yes, ma'am. I taught it a little bit.
Okay. The panel prepared to vote. Any other questions?
I have.
Mr. Tillers?
Mr. Burkett, today my vote is going to be to deny for strong family opposition.
And Mr. Prater?
I concur. The seriousness of the crime, I don't think that, although he served a long time, I don't think he served long enough.
Well, Mr. Burkett, my vote is to grant to an out-of-state compact to Illinois. I believe, so at this time, you needed a unanimous vote, so you have been denied parole today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
That concludes our business now at Louisiana State Penitentiary at 9:29.
Thank y'all.
Good morning. The Louisiana Committee on Parole is impaneled in Baton Rouge at headquarters. Today on the panel to my left is Mr. Tillis, to my right is Mr. Crater on this Ladue. We are at Bayou DORCHEAT Correctional Center with the staff there. Sir, would you introduce yourself?
Yes, ma'am. I'm Major Culpepper.
Thank you, Mr. Culpepper. And would the offender please introduce yourself with your name and your DOC number?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Michael Martin. DOC number 486696.
Okay. Culpepper.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to ask you before we get started, how long have you had Mr. Martin at your facility?
12 months.
Yes, at least 12 months. And he's been sitting here on a pretrial situation, which he finally got cleared up. And he was just waiting on the parole board to decide whether they're going to release him or not. And so I put him to work. He's been out working and stuff, been working hard too.
How has his conduct been?
Real good.
Uh, 7/4/2025. Did you have a 14 violation, Mr. Martin?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that is not what we're here to discuss, but I just wanted to make sure I understood this paper that was provided to me.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're here before us for our parole revocation. I'm going to read out the allegations, but first of all, I want to ask you, do you have a parole revocation questionnaire in front of you? Or do you have a copy that shows you signed it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, right here.
Okay, so the answers to that questionnaire indicate that you are not eligible for appointed counsel. Did you hire an attorney?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to read the allegation against you, and I need you to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty or with a statement. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Rule violation number 4, on or about 4/7/2024, you committed the offense of second-degree battery in Webster Parish. On 4/30/2024, a warrant was issued, and you were arrested. And then on 7/8/2024, you were transferred to Bayou DORCHEAT Correctional. You were booked for second-degree battery. On 8/8/24, the district attorney's office said there was a pending simple battery. On 5/23/2025, at a bench trial, you were found guilty of the offense of simple battery on Webster docket 99060A. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Okay. Can you help me reconcile? Did the bench trial come out as a guilty plea? I mean, it found you guilty.
Yes, ma'am.
So you went to court and found guilty. Okay. So your contention is that you are not guilty of that. We have one person here who is wishing to speak in support. And at this time, we will ask Ms. Gina Silvo to make her statement to the panel.
Good morning. Shane was doing really well before the incident occurred. There's been some new evidence that has come to light that shows there's more to the story than what was presented. I'm not sure if you want to hear that or not, but Shane wasn't there that day that they're alleging the incident took place. I do know where he was. He was actually working, and that the injuries that the victim sustained were sustained a few days later after his release from jail, and then he went back and falsely presented that as something that occurred on Friday. I have also spoken to the work hand that was there with the victim, and I sent y'all a copy of his recorded video statement. Unfortunately, he can't be here because he's incarcerated himself. But but he's also signed a sworn statement a year ago as to what he was aware of had happened, because Dustin was with him. And I don't know if y'all got all of that information.
Yes, and I reviewed it.
Okay.
Review. Thank you for your speaking to us today.
Thank you.
Mr. Prater, do you have any questions, this offender?
Yeah, you said you were not guilty. Would you explain to me why?
I wasn't even there at the incident, sir.
How long have you been out on probation?
17 months, sir.
17 months, and you hadn't had any incidents?
No, ma'am. No, sir.
Been complying with parole important?
Passed all my drug tests, paid all my fees. I've reported every time.
Why do you think this victim did this?
I've had time and time with this guy before, and me and him, we don't get along, and any way he can see to do anything wrong to me, he does.
Who is the captain there?
Okay.
Mr. Culpepper.
Yes, sir.
Since he's been incarcerated with you, you say how's his attitude?
His attitude's been great. We've not had no issues out of Michael. You know, we put him on work crew and stuff because he did get found guilty, but and he had a 6-month sentence, which was already time served. And then he went on work crew. He's been out on work crew. He did receive a write-up lately, but it was on, it was a weekend. It was about 3 other people. We have not resolved that issue with that write-up yet at this time.
But so far, he's been complying with what you want him to do?
Correct. Yes. He's a very hard worker.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Prater.
Yes, sir. Mr. Martin, so this isn't one of those, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, or one of those deals. You're saying you weren't even there.
Yes, sir.
Why did the judge find you guilty?
I don't. He said that he thinks that he said that he thinks the victim knows who I am. That's what he said.
Okay.
I don't understand why he found me guilty either. I don't understand why this hasn't been resolved within the 6 months that I was first here. I've been here 12 months on this misdemeanor.
What's your full-time date?
May 15th, 2028, sir.
I don't have any other questions.
I don't have any other questions. I think I'm prepared to vote. Mr. Martin, a judge found you guilty of violation of your parole with a simple battery. My vote today is going to, in lieu of revocation, send you to transitional work program.
Okay.
My vote is to do not revoke.
My vote is to do not revoke also. I think that you were guilty of a simple battery, and I'm assuming that's true. Whether you admit it or not, I'm assuming that's true. And you've been in jail for 12 months, which is longer than a simple battery charge would require anyway. So my vote is to do not revoke. And I concur about the work release.
That would be in lieu of revocation.
In lieu, right.
So for 6 months. I'm having a real problem with Mr. Culpepper. You say this write-up is not resolved?
No, ma'am, it just came out to light. So it just happened over the weekend. So we really have not even looked at it because, being that he is in limbo in the way of whether he's been revoked or not being revoked. That's where we were in limbo on that because we didn't know how we could proceed with that.
Well, and regardless, he had evidence of being intoxicated, correct?
No, I'll pass my drug test and
Yeah, he
everything.
passed his drug test and everything. That's what I said. I haven't had a chance to talk to the head of security and everything about it yet.
Well,
So,
the 2-to-1 is in lieu of revocation, 6 months transitional work program.
okay.
So continue doing what he's doing and let you take care of that. And that's the only thing we have before y'all today at 9:47. We're gonna adjourn from BAYOU DORCHEAT. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I got off there before you say a word. Guess what?
Good morning. The time is 10 o'clock and the Louisiana Committee on Parole is impaneled in Baton Rouge at headquarters. Serving today on the panel to my left is Mr. Tillis. To my right is Mr. Prager on his Ledoux. We are at Refuge Parish Detention Center. Would the staff there introduce yourselves, please? Perhaps you're on mute.
Sergeant Marsh.
Hey, Sergeant, thank you. And is there someone behind the offender? I see.
Yes, this is, I'm a. Is it, are we sliding it this way? No. Is that a difference?
So you're Ms. Brown, the attorney, correct?
Yeah, I'm attorney Bridget Brown.
Okay. So, sir, would you please, okay, we can't see him now. Would you please introduce yourself?
Sit behind them. Hold on. Okay, we do this. Sit up a little bit, Mr. Ortiz. No, so you see how you're not in the camera? So push over a little bit. Okay, in front of you. There you go. There you go. Is that good enough for you?
Yes.
Okay.
We could, yeah, okay. Please state your name and your DOC number for the record.
Elvin Ortiz. My DOC number is 299674.
And it's ELVIN, Elvin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Wanted to clarify that. Mr. Ortiz, you're before this panel today because of allegations of rule violation in your parole. Mr. Let's see, you're a fourth felony offender. Mr. Prager is going to handle asking you the questions and getting your plea.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Elvin Ortiz, you doing okay today?
Yes, sir. I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. When you get out of jail, you sign a deal saying you're going to abide by certain rules.
Yes, sir.
Rules you're accused of being in violation of today. Okay. The first one is rule number 4, and the second one is rule number 10. Number 4 says that you will not be involved in any criminal conduct and be around illegal drugs and alcohol, okay?
Yes, sir.
When you're accused, because of the fact that on 3 March of 2025, you were stopped while you're riding your bicycle and you had some methamphetamine in your sock, according to the police report. Okay, I know that case was null-prossed at some point. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you plead guilty? You were arrested, correct? So you're guilty of having been arrested. Is that correct?
No.
You're not guilty of the crime.
He's not guilty of having been arrested. And when I say that, I looked at the preliminary report, which the 3 of you have seen, and that is a report from the preliminary hearing, and in it incorrectly states on page 2, right under number 4, that Mr. Ortiz's attorney, Bridget Brown, spoke on his behalf and advised Ortiz to plead guilty to the arrest only. He didn't plead guilty. He acknowledged that he had been arrested, but he didn't plead guilty to anything.
Okay, well, pecan to some person is pecan to another person, but you were acknowledged or guilty of that, of having been arrested. Okay, well, I'll go with your word. Okay, that's the kind of fellow I am. You acknowledge you were arrested. Is that correct?
Yes, he does. Yes.
Okay, all right, we're making some progress. Okay, and do you, and I understand that the charges were ultimately dropped.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was there cocaine found in your sock or methamphetamine found in your sock?
No.
Okay. All right. So you're saying you got arrested, but you weren't in violation of the law.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
What are you saying?
And do you have any kind of statement about that? Could you kind of straighten it out for me?
Yeah, he does. He does have a statement about that. In the arrest report, which you should also have in front of you.
we've got the arrest report, yes, ma'am.
Hold on, I'm trying to get to my copy of it.
Okay.
Mr. Prater. Hold on. And there are two copies of it. The narrative, I don't know if y'all have that page in front of you, but the narrative says on March 14th at approximately 1300 hours, I, Stephen Ross, was operating a unit in Pineville, Louisiana, when I observed Elvin Ortiz riding a bicycle and failed to stop for the stop sign located on Wadley and Bragg Street. No citation given to him for failure to stop. Okay. Then it says, I'm also aware that Mr. Ortiz carries illegal narcotics on him while riding his bike. Again, no evidence of probable cause to stop him other than him writing in his report that I'm also aware that Mr. Ortiz carries illegal narcotics. There wasn't a lab report. There wasn't a field test done to see if what he said he took from Mr. Ortiz's sock was any kind of drug at all or any kind of illegal drug. Okay. And then he goes on the second page to say that he stopped him for the citation, but didn't issue him a citation.
Time out just a second. Ma'am, we're not here to argue constitutionality or police procedure, whether it was proper or not. Okay, that's not really what we look at. We look at, did he violate his parole? So although I understand those are the kind of issues that you deal with on a day-to-day basis, we don't really need to hear it. So all we're interested in is he admits to being arrested, but he says he didn't do it, and the courts have dropped the charge.
Exactly.
Is that all correct?
Exactly.
Okay. What about well, it says you owe $104. That doesn't even worth talking about.
But Mr. Prater, I do want him to address to the board that he's been on parole at the time of his arrest on March 20th. He had been on parole for 23 months, no arrears, okay? And then they said on the 23rd, he was in arrears, but of course on the 23rd, when he would have made a payment, he was sitting in jail because he'd been arrested 3 days before. So you know that he wasn't in arrears, because if he had been on parole for 23 months and hadn't missed a payment, then he certainly could not make a payment while he was sitting in jail. So again, at the preliminary hearing, I said the same thing I just said to you. Has he been behind? And they said no. I said, so the $104, which you're correct, is not worth addressing, but the reality is it's written in here, so we got to talk about it. The $104 is because he didn't pay while he's been sitting in jail, and he would have paid on the 23rd, but instead he was sitting in jail. They said yes.
Yes, ma'am. That's why I didn't really want to talk about it, because it's
okay. All right.
We see them up here in the thousands of dollars. You know, many
exactly.
$104. We're not too worried about it. Mr. Ortiz, have you ever been on parole before and gotten revoked?
No, sir.
Okay, you never had your parole revoked before?
No, sir.
Okay, and so you've been on parole for how long now?
23, 24 months.
Okay, and this is the first incident?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, I don't have any other questions.
Was he speeding on the bike?
No. No. And let me say this to you. I said when I sent in to the parole board the information that I'm giving to y'all right now about the dismissal and the $104. I said Mr. Ortiz has been in jail now for 120 days. Can y'all just send a reprimand? Because at this, I tried to get that at the hearing, and they said, well, if it's reduced to a misdemeanor, Ms. Brown, we'll do a reprimand on it. But they didn't even reduce it to misdemeanor. They just dismissed it completely after they got the police report in the DA's office. And I don't have any input on the DA's office.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have no more questions.
Okay, no questions here.
Okay, I think if we've covered everything, then we're prepared to vote. Mr. Prater is going to vote first.
Okay, I'll be the first to vote, and this is not an indication that it was bad police work or whatever the case might be, but my vote is to, I think you've learned your lesson. I think you better slow that bicycle down and also keep away from, avoid the appearance of impropriety.
Yes, sir.
You don't understand the term, you can turn around, your attorney will, you gotta stay away from anything that even looks bad. And if the
Oh, yes,
police
sir.
think, if
Yes,
the
sir.
police had somehow got the idea that you transporting drugs on a bicycle or something, they might have gotten that somewhere. I'd stay out of that neighborhood and off that bicycle.
Oh, yes, sir, without a doubt.
My vote is to not deny.
Can you sit back? They can't see you on the camera.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sit back. There you go.
Okay.
Very good, very good. Also, my vote is to do not revoke and stop at those stop signs.
Yes, sir.
Do not revoke with my wording. I said do not deny, please.
My vote is also to continue on supervision with special conditions that you had previously, and I believe you were required to do NAAA meetings.
Yes, ma'am.
And I know you went once, but you're supposed to be doing those on a regular basis.
Okay, I will. I was trying to. Should I say anything? Go ahead.
Wait, we're in stop.
You must have been late for the meeting while you ran the stop sign.
Yeah. Yes. You see that, but I was on my way to get a car parked, and that's what happened.
Okay, you've not been revoked. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Please have business there at Rapides. The time is now 10:12. Good morning. The Louisiana Committee on Parole is impaneled in Baton Rouge at headquarters. Today on the panel to my left is Mr. Tillis, to my right is Mr. Prater. We are currently at CADDO Correctional Center. With the staff there, please introduce yourself.
Captain Gil Rohrback.
Ebony Davis.
Lieutenant Parker Crockett.
Thank you. Before we get started, do y'all have anything to add about Mr. Green? Anything we need to know before we get started?
No, ma'am, he has no disciplinaries. He works in our kitchen and he's doing a good job.
Okay, thank you very much for the comment. Now, sir, would you please, we can only see you from the nose up. If there's a way you can adjust your seat so that we can maybe push back a little bit so we can see more of. Okay, great. Thank you. That's very good. Would you please introduce yourself with your name and your DOC number?
I'm Katravion Green, cell 56543.
Mr. Green, you're before this panel today as a potential parole violator. Do you have a parole violation questionnaire in front of you, or do you
Yes, ma'am.
recognize your signature?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that indicates that you are not eligible for appointed counsel. Did you hire an attorney for today?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and we'll go ahead and get started. Mr. Tillis is going to read out some allegations if you'll follow his directions.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. Rule number 1, you admitted that you failed to report as instructed to the Shreveport District Office within 48 hours being released on good time parole supervision. Do you plead guilty, not guilty, or with the statement?
I'm guilty.
You're guilty. Okay. Rule number 3, you failed to get permission from the Shreveport District Office of Probations and Parole before moving to your listed resident. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Number 4, you committed the offense of simple criminal damages to property and battery of a dating partner for which you were arrested by the DeSoto Parish Department on 10/2/24. On March 19, 2025, you pled guilty to simple criminal damage to property under the DeSoto Parish document number 24-35-293 and sentenced to serve 5 months parish jail, with the remaining charges being dismissed at the plea bargaining with the state. How do you plead?
I plead not guilty.
Okay, let's talk about it. What happened? Why do you plead not guilty? Did you damage the property?
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. I had broke the window out, but I had did the time for it though.
Okay. So you plead guilty to those charges?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I plead guilty.
All right. Number 6, you failed to show the parole officer proof of employment or proof that you were seeking work. How do you plead?
I plead not guilty.
What happened?
I had came down there and I told her I wasn't employed.
Were you looking for work?
Yes, sir.
You
I
were?
ain't have no idea on no social security card though. But I told him when I came down there before I had came in here.
Okay. How long have you been out on parole?
I want to say like 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Yes, sir. But
Okay.
at the end of the month, I had reported. I ain't reported in the 3 days, but I came in at the end of the month.
Okay, so they gave you a form letting you know what rules and regulations you were to abide by, and it seems like you admitted failure to report, which you just said you were guilty of that. So being out 3 weeks, you didn't go over the rules and regulations, or you didn't talk to your parole officer?
I had went over the rules, but I didn't physically talk to my parole officer. I talked to another woman.
Okay. All right. You all have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
And so you've only been out 3 weeks on parole. Have you learned anything from that? Or you think you can comply with the rules, regulations?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Understand them now?
Yes, sir.
I'm prepared to vote. My vote today is going to be do not revoke, simply because of the time that you've not been out. But I hope that you will learn something if you get parole. I mean, not revoked today. So my vote is do not revoke.
Mr. Schrader.
Yes, sir. When you sign that list of rules that you accepted, those are not suggestions. Those are rules that you abide by. And so I think that my vote is to revoke your parole, violations of rule 1, 3, 4, and 6.
Mr. Green is a third-class offender. You know the rules.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you been revoked before?
Yes, ma'am. On probation.
Yeah. So you didn't follow the rules then. You pled guilty, you were found guilty, you even had a plea agreement to reduce it. My vote today is to revoke your parole. So today, 2-1 vote, you have been revoked. Okay, that concludes our time there. It's now 10:26. Good morning. The Louisiana Committee on Parole is impaneled in Baton Rouge at headquarters. Today, we're hearing an offender at St. John the Baptist. And on the panel for us today, on my left is Mr. Tillis, to my right is Mr. Prater, I'm Ms. LeJew. Would the staff there at that facility introduce yourself?
Good morning, Sergeant Teresa Williams.
Good
morning, Sergeant Brian Bartholomew.
Okay, before we get started, have you had any problems with this offender prior to this hearing while he's been there?
No, ma'am.
No.
Okay. Sir, would you please introduce yourself with your name and your DOC number?
Yes, ma'am. I'm Gabriel Lamar King, DOC number 555-733.
Okay. Mr. King, do you have a parole revocation questionnaire that you've looked at this morning?
Yes, ma'am. It's in front of me, ma'am.
Okay, great. So your signature to those questions, the answers to those questions indicate that you are not eligible for appointed counsel. Don't see an attorney on our record, so you're going to be speaking for yourself, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Tillis, and he's going to be reading some violations, and you will answer his questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. King, how are you?
I'm doing all right, sir.
Good. Rule number 4A, you failed to refrain from criminal conduct as evident by your arrest on or about 4/4/25 in St. John Parish for battery of a dating partner and interfering with emergency communications on 5/5/25 under SJB number 2025. The domestic abuse battery charges were null process, state dissolved, stay away order. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or guilty with the statement?
As far as for what the judge did, sir, my girlfriend's statement, or you want me to speak on that behalf?
I want you to speak on all of it, but are you guilty or are you not guilty?
Not guilty, sir.
Okay, go ahead. Let's talk about it. What happened?
Yes, sir. It was around about 5:30 in the evening. Okay, and my girlfriend came looking for me, and my cousin, like for some apparent reason, don't like my girl, and she took it up on herself to go outside and argue with my girlfriend, Katie Wade, and her brother came in the kitchen and said, "Man, Gabe, man, my sister about to fight your girl, man, go out there and stop him." I said, "Well, why you ain't stop him?" I said, "Man." So I ran outside. When I get outside, they in a tussle. So by me thinking I'm doing the right thing, I ran up to him, I broke him up. My girl was on the ground. As I was about to pick my girl up, and I got my cousin off of my girl, my cousin took it up on herself to come around me and kick my girl on side of her face. So I was like, "Man, chill out, what you doing? I ain't even told you to fight my girl." So my girl was crying. My girl got up. I said, "Man, babe, just go home, babe, just go home." So she was crying, and she rolled out on a bike. On my way to my girl house, I called my girl phone. She said, "Babe, don't come over here. My mama called the cops. She thinking that me and you had a fight." I said, "You serious?" I said, "Well, why you don't tell the cops that it wasn't me and you?" She said, "My mama already talked to him, babe. Don't come over here. They're going to lock you up." So that's how it came about with me having a warrant for my arrest, sir, because my girl mother thought it was me had my girl crying. When it wasn't me had a fight with her, it was my female cousin, Narkita Anderson, sir.
Mr. King, your girlfriend said that you hit her twice.
Nah, she said she made a mistake because she blacked out. She thought I was taking up for my cousin, but in the statement, she cleaned it up. She wrote the affidavits. She went and got it notarized for $100. They told her go to a class. I think that was on Bear Terre. She went to a 4-hour class for domestic abuse or whatever or whatnot. And she showed up for my court date and got on the stand and raised our right hand and let them know it was a big misunderstanding.
Okay. I can hear you clearly when you're talking like you are now, but
Sir.
you didn't hit her.
No, sir. No, sir. I was breaking them up. I was breaking them up, and my little cousin, my female cousin, came around me when my girl said she blacked out and she kicked on side of her face. So I pushed my little cousin to the side. I said, man, you tripping, man. Chill out, man. I'm on papers, because I was letting them know I can't be in the midst of all this, because I'm on papers. I'm on parole already. And I still wind up getting the bad end of the stick by breaking up the fight.
Okay, violation number 4B.
Yes, sir.
Further, you failed to refrain from the illegal use of drugs when you were tested positive in May 2024 for methamphetamines and others, in which you admitted to smoking.
Yes, sir. Yes, I did. Yes, I did, sir. I told him I was going through a little something. They shot my baby mama car, but my mistaken identity in a little neighborhood where I was at, man. And my baby mother, she had got killed in a mistaken identity little situation, and I was distressing hard. So Miss Monica Riggs asked me, she said, Mr. King, is you clean? Because I want a drug test. You know, just doing a little monthly thing. And I was honest with her.
Okay, I have no more questions.
Okay, Mr. King, I want to inform you that we have the body cam.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I have read all the notations since you were paroled April of 24, every notation that your parole officers submitted. And I'm really surprised that you don't have more violations against you, because I don't think that you kept the curfew. I know you didn't. You admitted it multiple times.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I have, ma'am.
They attempted to see you, couldn't find you. You were very, very difficult to supervise.
To supervise, well, I beg your pardon. I beg the difference on that, ma'am. I came inside like 2-3 times, 30, 40 minutes late. That's why I felt like it was a conflict thing between me and my parole officer. I was like, I come inside 30, 40 minutes late and you still on my trail and things in that nature. I was like, I wanted another parole officer because I felt like she was being a little too hard on me, even though that's the law, you know, I'm supposed to be in at a time. So she gave me 5 days, or she gave me a 5-day tech where I had to come here and do 5 days. And she haven't had no problems with me after that. So she wanted to get me off of the curfew thing. She said, Mr. King, you've been doing good. I'm gonna let you get off the curfew thing. And I told her, nah, you can keep me on it because it keep me aware of coming inside early. You know, like it just keep me informed that doing the right thing and coming inside early. So I told her, don't take me off.
Mr. Prater, do you have any questions?
Let's go over the drugs again.
He had 2 positive drug screens, at least, that I can find.
Right. And possession of, was it methamphetamine?
No, sir, not possession. I was dirty. I took a ibuprofen 800 and I was smoking weed and I drank a little beer and I was honest about it. And I don't know, she just give me another chance. So I don't see where she pushed the issue on that, because she said, well, at least you're being honest with me. And I thought it was that. And I never failed no more drug tests. I never was dirty again. And I just been doing good. I've been staying out the streets. The only hard thing was, it's hard to get a job when you're a convicted felony. Everywhere she told me to go, I volunteered to go there. And the people told me the reason why I'm not giving you a job, because of your background.
Okay, have you ever been on probation or parole before?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have you ever been violated before?
No, sir. Not unless I violate myself to finish my time. That's the only time. I never been violated. No, sir.
Violating yourself. Explain that.
Oh, it's like as if you catch a new charge and you come to jail and they come with the papers and they be like, well, Mr. King, you want to violate yourself? And I sign it and agree to it. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir, I know these things. I'm just wanting to hear them out of your mouth.
Yes, sir.
So twice before you've been on parole
Yes, sir.
and violated yourself because you broke the law.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And now here we are again. We're thinking about violating you because you broke the law again. So I don't think I have any other questions.
Yes, sir.
Is the panel prepared to vote?
Yes.
Yeah.
Today my vote is going to be to revoke.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Prater?
Vote is the same, to revoke violations of Rule 4A and B.
And I concur, my vote is to revoke. Based on unanimous vote, your parole has been revoked. It's now 10:46, and we're going to be closing out our time there. Thank you to the staff. We appreciate your help, and I think it's the first time I've seen y'all at that facility. Did a good job. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Y'all have a nice day. They revoke me.
So when they come on, we up, you're up. See, they right here right now. I don't know where they at. Revoke, so they're about to come on to you. Only we're gonna click this. I'm gonna leave that the way it is. What does that say? I bet they're gonna come on. Cause I unmute them. They saying it was mute, but it's unmute. They're about to come on.
And you know what? Your first, when they're sending rap sheet on locked up, this is something about if they got any errors to give with adult services. They got an error somewhere because it's not right. Yeah, they got an error. I did my all my time. I'm supposed to have my parole. Then Herman said he was gonna get that clear straight with the registration. I don't got to register no more. So I don't know what's going on, but it's all good. I mean, so well, not with this. That's not all good.
I see it on, so they might be coming on, right? It should be. That's what they told me click, so I click on it. This one, huh? We gotta click on it. They should see me on though, right? Yeah. Cause you see right here where it say audio? They're not on it, like. But when they come on, you can look at that.
Mhm. 10:31. Yeah.
So they're gonna come on. They'll come on. They're not too far. You finish with it?
Yeah, thank you. Look, Miss Francis, I don't know if they're coming on. They think the screen switched a little bit too. Look, I don't know if they coming on or what. It wasn't like that. It switched. Just switched to
It's switched to Louisiana.
Yeah.
See where you see staff, they're gonna come on in.
Okay, but I still gotta call y'all, all right?
If you're not hearing it, let me know. That's why.
Oh, all right. I saw on you though. No, I'm saying I don't.
But if you can't hear, let me know.
All right.
Good morning. The Louisiana Committee on Parole held in Baton Rouge at headquarters. Our remote site today is St. Martin Correctional Center. Is there any staff there at St. Martin?
Yes, ma'am.
That's okay if they're not in the room. That's okay. They're not in the room.
Don't call them. I'll call them. Cause she read it.
Okay.
Just have, on the panel today, to my left is Mr. Tillis, to my right is Mr. Prater. I'm Ms. Ledoux. We are going to be reading some information to you, but before, would you introduce yourself and give us your DOC number?
Thaddeus Milton Landor, 383738.
Hey, Mr. Landor. Do you see a revocation questionnaire in front of you anywhere?
Yes, ma'am.
And your answers, did you refuse to sign that?
Yes, ma'am. I didn't want to sign any paperwork because when I was free, I was trying to get my parole officer to get this correct because I did all of my time. I wasn't supposed to be on parole, but I agreed to, to follow do the things and until she get it straight. but she didn't want to get it straight. She told me I had to come sit in jail to get that straight. So I've been,
That's just a few questions. Are you able to read and write?
ma'am,
Can you read and write?
yes, ma'am.
Have you had any mental illness or disorder in the last 5 years?
No, ma'am.
You understand the charges against you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so you're
Well,
willing to.
no, I don't, because I'm not supposed to be on parole, but
Okay, so according to Supreme Court guidelines, you would not be eligible for appointed counsel. And so we're going to go ahead and continue with the hearing based on those answers, okay?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Lander, you're before this panel today for failing to report to the parole office from 8/18/2023 until your arrest, May 15th, 2025. How do you plead?
I stopped going, ma'am, like I said, because she wanted me to come sit down in jail, and I did my time flat. I wasn't supposed to be on no parole. They got an error somewhere. So, but I did stop going to see it.
Okay.
Because she wasn't trying to get in touch with trying to get it straight. She wanted me to come sit in there, and I didn't want to come back to jail, man.
I have that you were released on 6/8/2023 with a full term date of 1/3/2025. You had a 4-year, 9-month sentence. So your full term date was January 2025.
No, ma'am, 4 years, 9 months. No.
So
they ran my time together with Lafayette. I did like.
Okay, so I'm not,
years,
nothing with time. We
Yeah.
don't do anything with time.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So what I'd like to address mainly is that were you under supervision at all after you were released in 10/23? Did you report? Did you do anything? It just guilty or not guilty?
Yeah, I did a report.
You reported.
Yes, ma'am. And then I stopped going. When she told me I had to come sit in jail to get it straight. So, but yes, I did. I did report, but I stopped going.
Were you living at your, you were not living at your approved address of 3322 Main Highway, Bro Bridge?
That's still my address, ma'am.
Were you living there?
Yes, ma'am. That's still my address.
Okay. Being an address and actually being there every night to live is two different things.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you there?
I just went there when she came there, because I'll be working with my stepbrother, but I live there. I don't have other place to stay. That's where I stay.
Is that where your head was every night?
Yes, ma'am.
You engaged in criminal activity when you committed failure to register and notify as a sex offender or child predator first felony, and failure to register and notify as a sex offender and pay the fees. You were arrested on the warrant on 5/15/2025. Those charges are still pending. Have you been to court for any of?
No, ma'am, but we did speak to my registration officer, and he said after the hearing, he was gonna come and talk to me and free me, because he knew about me trying to get my parole stuff straight. I just didn't want to come back to jail. That's why I just stopped going around the police thing.
Okay. Did you provide your probation officer with proof of employment?
No, I wasn't working on no regular job, ma'am. I was just helping, like a helper with my cousin's husband. What's his name? Mike. I was working with him for a little while, and I was doing lawn stuff with my brother.
Okay. It's alleged that you failed to make yourself available for visits at your residence because you were not living at 3322 Main Highway, Grow Bridge, and your whereabouts were unknown. How do you plead?
I told you, ma'am, I didn't want to come back to jail, so I just stopped. Whenever she told me I had to come sit in jail to get this straight, I just stopped. But I still was living there. I don't have another. The screen blanked out. I didn't have no other place to stay. That's why I stayed 3322.
And then you're $1,134 behind on your fees. How do you plead?
I just, like I say, man, I stopped whenever I try to get it straight because I wasn't supposed to be paying it. I did my time, all my time. They got an error somewhere, but I know y'all don't deal with the time, but who do I need to get with about that, man?
Hey, there are a lot of people watching this video, and I'm sure that will be addressed. Mr. Lander, based on all that we've been talking about, you were not being supervised, you were not available for supervision, and your whereabouts were unknown according to the probation and parole officer, okay? When the warrant was put out, your credit on the street stops. So all I could tell you is that I find you guilty of violation of your parole conditions. Do either of my colleagues have any questions?
I don't have any.
I don't have any.
My vote today, Mr. Lander, is to revoke your parole, and some of these things will be addressed then. Okay, Mr. Tillett?
My vote is to revoke also.
Mr. Prater?
Yes, ma'am. My vote is to revoke for violations of Rule 3, 4, 6, 9, and 10.
So today, unanimously, you have been revoked. The time is now at 11:02, and that concludes our business at St. Martin and for the day, so we adjourn.